Yeah, this is business as usual at my house.
Two, three, four.
Alright, today on Forge20, we're gonna do something that's a little unusual for us. I'm gonna do a little garden tour. Probably none of you are interested in this, even though I've had like 3 people ask me to do it. Probably nobody will watch it, but we'll throw up a little 5-minute sort of one-take tour, and you can see kind of what the place looks like. Alright, so you can hear the trains. They'll be going on continuously. That's pretty much what it sounds like here all the time. And what you're looking at here are my fruit trees. This is an apple, this is a dead apple, and this is another apple. These 3 were here when I moved in, and I added this one, which is the peach tree, and this one, which is the cherry. So we're kind of along the side of my yard here. You can see there's all the trash from the cord making video. There's everybody waiting for the trains. And right here are the trains. So for those of you who are only here for the trains, there you go. So the cherry and the peach do super well. This apple did okay. You can see there's some decent apples on there. But I have stink bugs and a fungal infection. So you have to treat these trees every year. Otherwise you don't get any fruit. And even when you do, a lot of it's kind of messed up. So let's go. This is the main garden. None of this was here when I moved in. I built all this, put in the fencing, built the gates, made the beds, everything. Basically, I do a lot of stuff that doesn't really add up to a video, but there's always something going on here, you know. Like this is all the path rocks are stuff that I scavenged from other jobs. You can kind of see there's some in the front there. This is all strawberry, wild strawberry, and some grass. I need to weed in there. This is also strawberry. So this strawberry bed is a mix of early and late strawberries and wild strawberries. So I get berries pretty much all spring long. This thing is asparagus, which I started 5 of them from roots. And a couple of them have done really well, and I've never seen before. This is asparagus berry. So they've gone to seed here. And hopefully next year we'll get more asparagus. So the front of the garden has 2 beds, 2 raised beds I should say, and I put the stinging nettle there, or the milk thistle, because it helps keep pests out of the tomato bed. And this is tomatoes, and they did horrible this year. I got early blight because it was kind of wet, and they never really recovered from that. We got like 2 pots of sauce out of it, but most of them, these are green tomatoes, and you can see they're just not really any size or coming in at all, and that's because of the blight. You can see all the brown stuff is blight. So in this bed is peppers. There's 4 pepper plants. Oh look, I got some more peppers. I thought I was done with peppers for the year, but no, there's a few in there. There's one right there. And in this bed we did lettuces, a few other things. This is eggplants. Let's see if I can find an eggplant for you. There's one right there. Eggplant, lettuce, carrots, and then there's basil down at the end and a few other herbs. Dill. No, the dill's in the back. There's a couple other herbs in there though. I just put those in. The carrots came back this year on their own. They volunteered. And then in the back here, this is beets, which we've already harvested a bunch of beets and then spread them out again, and they've really come back. This bed is bush beans, which I just put in a week ago, and so they've just started to sprout. That's going to be my fall harvest. Bush beans. This raised bed is all onions. So this area where the two raised beds are in the back, the two small ones on the ground here where we're standing, I just made these, and we'll wait for the engine to go by. Two engines. It's kind of like having a locomotive right in your own backyard. So the switchyard goes about a mile back that way, which is where he's taking all those cars right now. He's breaking down a train. They just pulled in from Canada. He pulled up past the crossing, and now he's gonna start breaking off sections of cars onto the little sidings, the little cross sidings. And so that'll be going on pretty much all day. He'll be banging cars around and making a ton of noise. You're just gonna have to deal with that. So, onion bed, all these onions were here in this area where the beets and the peas are now, and they were getting pretty heavily weeded. I was having a hard time keeping them weeded, so I made this raised bed, and it's all onions, even though it doesn't look like there's anything in here. There's onions all the way along, and they'll be back in the spring. Looks like some squirrel was here eating a black walnut, is what that is, the husk of a black walnut. Is that, I think that's onion coming up right there. These are chives. And then as the engine, see, back and fill, back and fill. That's all he does. He just dropped off like 3 cars, and now he's pulling forward again to get to the next switch. So this whole bed is potatoes. Yeah, exactly. And again, I had a little bit of blight in here. You can see some of them are a little brown. And I've already pulled a bunch of potatoes. I got a bunch already, and I have more to get. And then these on the back were peas. And peas and potatoes go super good together, so I had peas all along the fence. And that's pretty much the vegetable garden. Back and forth and back and forth. So behind the main vegetable garden, there's another garden which I fenced off, and this has hugelkultur mounds, which is basically just logs making kind of a raised bed with more logs buried in the center. And that's my pumpkin mound. You can see I got pumpkins everywhere in here. And then on the other side is summer squash, which this is the first year I've done summer squash, and they kind of went like gangbusters. But I think I also have a pest in here. I've seen beetles and stuff in here, the little yellow and black ones. They're here all the time, but they don't always do a ton of damage. But I think this year they're starting to pick up. I think next year I got to move a bunch of stuff around and add some pesticides, which I haven't really done yet. It's been 3 years I haven't really added any pesticides. But the bugs are starting to get out of hand this year, so we'll try and catch up. And then this is dill in this pot here, which is going to flower. I probably ought to top these and harvest some of the dill. Anybody wants dill, let me know. I got tons. And then in the back behind there these are blueberry bushes, which the one in the center had kind of a hard year, but it's still there. And we did actually make blueberries this year. My dream is to have this whole thing full of blueberries, but it'll take a few years for that to happen. So there's three bushes in here, and they do make berries in the spring. So. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try and make this my shortest video ever, except for the 3D printing first run video. Yeah, there it is. That's my garden. Thanks for watching.
Forge 20. Da-da-da!